Good morning. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm going to be doing my first half of what sold for last week, which will be April 18th through the 21st. And if you're new to my channel, then I do a second video that's just for the weekend, Friday through Sunday. Kind of slow. It's all right. Keep listing, keep doing our thing, and the sales will happen. That's what I got to keep telling myself. Let's see. This week I have eBay, Facebook, Mercari, and Posh. Didn't have anything on Bonanza again, and Etsy. As far as eBay, I don't show you guys the clothes, but I sold 6 clothing items that week and 3 on Posh. So let's just get to it. I went yard selling today. Well, Robert and I went out yesterday. Bought tons. I keep telling myself, even when sales are slow, I still need to be sourcing because there's going to come a point where we're going to have a bad weekend. Maybe even a couple of bad weekends with our crazy Tennessee weather. So I'm just going to keep sourcing as usual and, you know, look definitely for those things I think that are going to be fast sellers, get them listed, get that conversion going, and hopefully it'll just kind of set something. I have noticed though, like this week I realized that eBay's made a few changes on the screens, and I think historically for me, every time eBay changes something, sales go pfft. Now, my friend said she's noticed it a couple of weeks ago, but I'm assuming it still would have been this month, which maybe it accounts for. But I had gone into the bulk edit screen and realized it's totally different. But I like it. I really do. So I'm not complaining on that part. It seems like there's going to be a lot of ways that you can just change stuff right there on that screen, where before it was just kind of, you had to go through the bulk edit once you were in there. But I like it. But it just seems like every time something gets updated or changed, it messes up stuff as far as sales for me. I don't know. Put in the comments if you think that's the same thing. But eBay says I'm up according to last month's sales. I'm up about 15% or so. And I told my friend, so I went from terrible to still pitiful. But it's okay. It's okay. I'd hit 9,000 listings though this week, so, you know, there's some positives. I haven't listed for a few days. I suffer from insomnia, so some days it just gets me, and I just don't get a bunch accomplished when that happens. And it happened to me this week. Luckily, it usually only happens one day, and then I'm good. But oh well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, if you're new to my channel, I don't offer free shipping. So when I tell you something sold for this amount, the buyer did pay additional shipping. And everything, I do use List Perfectly to cross-list to all the platforms except Bonanza, which has some kind of agreement, and you're able to pull all of your listings over straight into Bonanza. I like Bonanza, but for some reason these last few months my sales have plummeted. So everything starts on eBay, and then I cross-list to the different platforms. If you've ever been considering doing some cross-listing, I like List Perfectly. And I do have a coupon code down in the description. I think it gives you 30% off your first month. So give it a try. All right. So much for all the selling stuff. And of course, I don't say this very often, but if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I would sincerely appreciate it. Okay. Funny story with this first item. I've talked about the high bid online auction that we just happened upon last year and bought a ton of stuff. Well, this cup was the reason why I bought a lot. this cup isn't worth a whole lot, but what was ended up being behind this cup, because with this particular auction that we were bidding on, basically you got one picture, but a lot of times there was a whole bunch of other stuff that you couldn't see. So I bid on this lot because of this cup, but behind this cup was several of the pharmaceutical promotional coffee mugs that I have sold almost immediately for $100 plus. So I'm glad this is going, but you know, it was just a funny story. I did have it kind of listed high. I ended up taking a best offer of $10 on this King's Dominion Fred Flintstone milk glass cup. This is Golden Bear Company. I like that brand. Some of the Barneys are that brand, the dinosaur. Just a lot of variety of animals. It just seems like a really good quality. I put it up there as one of the few that I mean, one of my favorites that I don't talk about very much. This was a cute little white rabbit. It had a straw hat, so of course it needed to be boxed, and it sold for $18.95. Probably found it at the bins. A lot of my plush does come from the bins. We don't actually go to our local one very often because it's an hour and a half drive for me, but Robert and I do sourcing trips where we fill a trailer. So that's how I get a lot of my plush. This was a Dr. Brown's pacifier holder. I had one of them listed and then I found another one, and I talk about that all the time. I just go ahead and end my listing, update it, increase the price, and just keep going forward. These two, the unicorn and the baby deer plush lot, sold for best offer of $10. I bought a bunch of these vintage tissue paper decorations. A lot of them were, there was only 2 Ziggies, I believe, in there. I did sell this particular, I want to say I paid like a quarter or less for each one of them. And this Ziggy sold for best offer of $9. Definitely keep your eyes. I think a lot of times they're Hallmark or American Greetings, but some of them do very well for me. I picked this up at an estate sale. I want to say I paid $1 for it kind of recently. It was full of like vintage Valentine's cards and stickers. The stickers were adhered to the pages. I just left the book intact. Luckily, I was able to take pictures of all the pages. Here, I'll show you a few. It was just a kind of a variety. But there were some scratch and sniff, which I know are very sought after. I decided to do an auction on this. Started it at $49.99 and it got the one bid. So I'm happy. But definitely keep your eyes open for these older sticker album books. But definitely, I think Bolo Buddies has a video out on vintage stickers. You'd be amazed at what some of them go for, especially when they're new in the package. This is Mary Myers, another brand I like to pick up. This is a series of, I think they're Christmas plush. This one did have a 2007 on the foot, and it sold for $12.30. I show a lot of my bread and butter. To me, for my business, bread and butter is like $8 to $12. I sell a lot in that price range. I've got pennies into most of them, but then of course I sell a bunch over that also. This is Care Bears Baby Blue Baby Tugs plush. He's from 2002. I stopped at a thrift store and she had a whole box and they were all $1 each. I think I've sold most of them. This one sold for $18.95. Aurora, I mention this almost every video. I like to pick up the 6-inch plush. It's just every animal that you can imagine. I pay pennies for them, a lot of times quarter 50 cents at a yard sale, and this one sold for $9.45. It's just one of those toys that kids like to hold on to, and then they get raggedy and parents go looking for a replacement. This is Vtech Go Smart. I mention these a lot too. I pick these up especially at the bins, and usually I put like 2 of them together and list them for $9.95. It keeps the weight under a pound, and I sell a lot of them. But this particular one is a motorized one, and when I was doing comps, I realized they sell for a little bit more by themselves. So make sure that you do test these thoroughly. I think I listed this one before I started doing videos of it, but a lot of times I think kids get a little rough with them and it breaks the mechanism that makes it move. So just check it. This one did sell for $14.20. This is Denver Broncos Huddles the Horse Plush. We picked him up, I'm pretty sure, at the bins, and he sold for best offer of $17. He sold very quickly for me. This is Department 56. I had to use Google Lens. This is actually Billy Buttons. It's a whole series of ornaments that they make and decorations. I couldn't tell. I didn't have boxes, and they seemed yellow to me, but I wasn't sure because when I looked at other ones in the comps, they seemed that way too. They were kind of this odd covering on them. I just went ahead, took very good pictures, which is what we all need to be doing, and they ended up selling for best offer of $25. I picked these up at an estate sale. I want to say I spent a quarter or 50 cents for several things that were in a tote along with what these were. There were 4 miniature little golden books, and I just decided to put them all together, and they sold for best offer of $10. But these were like this big. This is a rabbit plush. It had a butterfly emblem on it, but no tag. Those are a little bit harder. Just use as many descriptive words as you possibly can. Brown, reclining, bunny and rabbit, butterfly emblem. And hopefully a person who's looking for this will use any of those keywords and find your item. It sold for best offer of $17.05. This is Aurora, an alligator, crocodile, keywords, plush. This is one of the larger ones. He was 18 inches and he sold for $8.50. I picked this up at the Goodwill bins. It is like, I'm going to grab it. It was an incomplete one of these from my wall. As you can tell, that was just the red color. It was missing one piece, and I think a puppy had gotten a hold of it and chewed like the ear or something. So I decided to sell each piece as replacements. I think this is the second piece of it I've sold. I sold it for $4.70, but I helped somebody get a piece that they needed for theirs. So I'm good with that. I bought a tote full of chunky vintage little people. I want to say there were over 35 figures, and then there were cars and everything. I decided to put them in lots of 2, and these sold for $7.50 best offer. This brand, keep an eye out for. There's a large blue elephant plush. I'm pretty sure I've sold it once already. That sells for very well, but these are just the little 5-inch plush, has a little rattle in it. A lot of times they're like grabbers or something like that is some of the keywords they use. This one sold for $12.50, and I recently found another blue one and a pink one, and I've put them together in a lot. This is Spark Create Imagine. It's a pink and purple unicorn. That is a Walmart brand toy. There for a while, when I first started recording these videos, I was finding tons of them, but I haven't been finding them very much these days. This unicorn sold for $12.30. These are excellent, and you need to get yourself familiarized with them. These are little 2-inch horses, but they're from the Lincoln Log series. There are figures and these horses. The figures, sometimes I'll do small lots. Usually I can get $4 or $5 for each one of them. But these horses, I always list them separately. And this one sold for $9.45. They're just, once you've figured out what they are, then you'll always be able to recognize them. But they're just these little horses. This is Manhattan Toys Groovy Girl doll. I picked them up especially at the bins. They're 12 inches, especially when they're clean. A lot of times their hair can be rough and then I don't pick them up. But this one was in excellent condition and she sold for best offer of $8. This was a hand puppet by Sonny and Company. A lot of times it's the ones that I've seen in the past are little boy and girl figures. A lot of times I think they use them like in Bible school type situations. But this one was a 24-inch whale, and I had lots of low offers on it. But finally, I think I must have sent out a $21 offer to watchers, and they did take it. This is Eden. Love that brand. This is Miss Tabitha Twitchit Cat. She's from the Peter Rabbit Beatrix Potter series. She did have her paper tag, but she was in excellent condition. I'm pretty sure I found her at the bins, and I was just thrilled that I could find an Eden plush with its tag in such great condition. She ended up selling for best offer of $32. I picked a bunch of How to Train Your Dragon figures up at a consignment sale recently. Most of them I paid $5 each for them. This one I do believe I spent $8 for. This is Barf and Belch Zippleback, and it ended up selling for $23.70. I'm thinking I picked this up at an estate sale, but I buy so much, I'm not remembering. I think I paid either $3 or $5 for it. This is a vintage Play School tape recorder with dual microphones. All of that information is right on there. You don't even have to figure it out. I did test it. I did put a video in the listing showing that both of the mics were working and the tape player was working. And I ended up taking a best offer of $38 for it. Walmart. Love Walmart. This is Big O Brown 19-inch bear. Very cute, two-toned, and it sold for $18.95. I bought a small tote of Snoopy and Belle clothes. I didn't realize it was that at first. I'm not sure you guys have even seen the video yet on it, but I went to an estate sale, and at first I thought they were just doll clothes. I was going to buy them anyway, but I started digging through it, and it had Determined Productions tag, and that almost always is Snoopy and Belle. And then I realized there was actually even these pamphlets with complete outfits. I went ahead and listed each outfit. I paid $5 for the tote. I want to say I ended up with about maybe a dozen outfits. This one sold probably within an hour of listing. There were none like it. Most of them I think I listed for $15 to $20. I went ahead because I had so many pieces to this set. Went a little bit higher and it sold, like I said, probably within an hour for $29.95. Definitely keep your eyes out for the clothes that went with. There was a 10-inch and a 15-inch Snoopy and Belle. This is Land Before Time puppet that was released by Pizza Hut. This is Ducky. I try to find, I'll pick these up anytime I find them, but a lot of times they do have a lot of paint wear to them, so just be careful with that. This one, I ended up taking a best offer of $9 for it. And again, I'm pretty sure I picked it up at an estate sale for like $1/4. This is Dakin Lou Rankin Plush. His name was Nibbles. He's 12-inch, very cute, very soft, very clean, thankfully. Pretty sure I picked him up at the Goodwill bins, and he sold for $16.10. Now, this was in that high bid auction that I talked about earlier. It had issues. It had missing string. He is like a puppet. This is Howdy Doody from Goldberger. Had a hole in him that needed repaired. I just went ahead and listed him as is. Missing stuffing, just all kinds of issues. I just knew somebody would want him and can restore him. And he ended up selling for best offer of $8. I'm good with that. And then I've talked about this cookbook. Definitely keep your eyes open for the Betty Crocker cookbooks. There's this one, and there's a yellow one, which I've showed in previous videos, that sells for even more. This one sold very quickly. It hadn't even had a chance to go on sale yet, for $29.95. I usually see these at estate sales for like $1 to $3. Tie beanies. I tell you, list them if you've got them, especially if they've got their paper tags and you're getting them really, really cheap. You know, do I go out of my way? No, to buy them. But I find them a lot of times at the Goodwill bins, and because they're in good condition and I'm paying pennies for them, usually I'll go ahead and pick them up. This was a tie beanie baby Patriot Bear from 2001. I've got my store on sale right now on Facebook. So even the things that you've sold, they mark the price down. This didn't get sold at the sale price. It sold for $5. I'm good with that. This is Fisher-Price Little People Kingdom. This was the horse and the dragon. Love down. I think there was a different dragon that was released by McDonald's. Keep your eyes out for that one too. They almost always, especially the more contemporary ones, have this little people signia on the side of them somewhere. These sold for $9. And then this Dandy White Lamb Plush sold for $7. I've stopped putting a lot of plush over on there. They don't seem to sell as quickly as the hard toys and the household stuff that I put over there. And then this is Mercari. It's funny how many comments I got when we did the haul video on this and we were trying to figure out what it was. I had several people send comments that this was from, I guess, like the Target dollar aisle. I had already got them listed by the time you guys had seen the video, and they had already sold. These were the, I sold them for $11 for the two of them. It was just this lion. I guess it was part of the Bullseye series, and they had like a little safari birthday party. So just because you think it was in a dollar store or in the dollar aisle, you know, that doesn't always mean that they're not going to sell for a whole lot, because they may have become unavailable and somebody's just wanting to add it to their collection. I just thought that was funny. And then two Posh orders that weren't clothing. These were some Clark's Artisan Leather Flats. Picked these up last summer at a yard sale that we went to that was like in a campground here. I want to say I only paid like 50 cents a pair for the shoes. They were in excellent condition. These sold on Posh for $22. And last, these. I've had these for a couple of years. They've been on eBay for several years. These are ThermoServe. It was a strawberry design pitcher and tumbler set. I paid, I want to say $5 at a yard sale for them. And I'm telling you, they have been listed forever. And finally, I cross-list them to Poshmark and they sell for $25. So I'm thrilled that they're gone. I already had them pre-packed, so it was just so simple. Pick them up, slap that label on it, and we're good. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to do the second half of this. Probably it'll get released tomorrow. And then, again, just keep listing, y'all. I know it's tough, especially the Poshers who are just, you know, in dire straits because, you know, their whole everything was based on Poshmark for them, and all of a sudden there's all kinds of problems with the algorithm, and there was a fire chat thing released this week, and you know, just if you're only doing Poshmark, please consider cross-listing, especially to eBay. You know, there's videos out there of, you know, the people are scared about the shipping. It's really not that rough. It's really not. Just know what box you're going to pack it in and know what level of shipping you're going to do and have an accurate weight. You'll be good. All right. Bye.